And now the State Department, this is a bizarre story. Organizer of a private mission to rescue an American mother and her 3 children from Afghanistan says the U.S. State Department is trying to insert itself into the story and take credit for the evacuation, except they played little to no role in the effort. I'm not surprised by this. I told you guys last week that I was hearing from a number of people in government, like our actual elected officials, who were discussing how much of a fight it was with the State Department to get people in and out. It's an absolute fight. And we've seen this. There's a number of stories that attest to this. They said Corey Mills and a private team of military veterans led the effort to rescue the mother and her 3 children. And I'm amazed. The organizer says, and Corey Mills, who organized this, the State Department is trying to take credit for it. They announced on Monday, let me pull this up. They said that they facilitated in a statement, they said, quote, U.S. has facilitated the safe departure of 4 U.S. citizens by overland route from Afghanistan. Embassy staff was present upon their arrival. But the people who actually did it were not the State Department. It was private donors with the Sentinel Foundation who led the effort to rescue the mother, Miriam, and her 3 children. They were left behind, or you could say abandoned, right? Yeah. So they were left behind. And it was a private team of veterans, including Corey Mills, that did this. They were the first people to try to get the family aboard one of the last government flights, but they wouldn't let her in the airport. And so the State Department urged them to go to the airport gate, go through all these Taliban checkpoints over and over again. Every single time they tried, they were refused by the Taliban. I want to let you know. And the final time Miriam tried to enter the airport, one of the Taliban pointed a gun at her head and told her not to come back. And then Taliban fighters were asking Kabul locals who knew her how they could find her. They started looking for her because they realized, she might be an asset. And you know what happens to assets. They were going to try to get her on a chartered flight, but they were never cleared to take off because the State Department did not gain clearance for a number of these privately funded flights to actually depart from the airfield. And this was something I, again, had heard also from a number of elected officials. Can I just say sidebar, Kane? I do not like that thing looking at me. It is weirding me out now.
That's where you put it.
I did put it there. If you're wondering, if you watch the live stream of the simulcast of the radio show, and if you look on Instagram, I got this posable dummy prop. The box says, sits up on its own. That's a lie. Over 6 foot tall. I think that's also maybe a lie. And lifelike head, hands, and feet. As lifelike as can be for $49.
Yes.
And it's weird. It's the color of Band-Aids. And I got a mullet for it because it's bald.
And that mullet is legit, though. Honestly.
That mullet, okay. So I was telling Juan that does not look like a mullet from the '80s, man. That looks like
that's Joe Dirt.
No. That does not look like Joe Dirt. The top's too long. There's too much glam up top.
I think those were the famous Joe Dirt mullets.
I don't think so. Well, you have the package on I left it on your desk. That doesn't look like a Joe Dirt mullet. That looks almost like.
It does.
If Joe Dirt met Zoot Suit. I mean, but it is. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's more business up top, but it's more like glam up top. Like, is your business an anchor woman on local news from the 80s? Because that's the top it has. It's just too floofy on the top. I'm not. Anyway, it's staring at me and it's unsettling. It's really, I just looked up and it's weird. I don't know. I'm going to have to put this thing back in the box to sleep at night. Now I'm totally weirded out. I don't like it. I don't like the bones in its feet. It's weird. Everything about this thing is weird.
Joe Dirt's mullet in
Joe
Slack.
Dirt's mullet, though, on the top, it's way shorter.
I don't know.
This is important to me that this is accurate.
I don't think it's that much shorter.
Yeah, it's way short. Dude, look. It has like curls. Like I could hot roll that thing. I could not hot roll Joe Dirt's hair. I could totally get me like at least like a jumbo size hot whirl in there. I totally could. This is very important to me that this is accurate for no reason at all. But it is. It's the weird things I focus on. I don't know. But I had to tell you guys that because it actually threw me. I'm like talking to you guys and I look up, I'm like, that damn thing is staring at me. It is creepy. It is the color of Band-Aids though. I had it on the back of my chair before we went just to like mess around with people. So the older Joe Dirt wig is like Nashville mullet. Okay. That's not like a Kentucky Waterfall. That's like a Nashville Camaro crash helmet. Okay. That's way too glam. It is way too glam.
Yeah, you can
Kentucky
style.
Waterfall, by the way, would be a
style.
great all-cover tribute band to Kentucky headhunters.
I bet you it would. It already exists,
I
right?
bet if it doesn't, I'm going to be so depressed. I'm going to be so depressed. And frankly, I'm going to have lost whatever little faith I had left in humanity. It's going to be gone. Whew. Excuse me. All right. So that's very important that the State Department is trying to take credit for that. I think that's so lame. It's so lame. And I'm glad that people are speaking up and saying, no, y'all didn't do that. You guys didn't do that. So, Doug, speaking of the Taliban heads, Doug Lamborn, who's a congressman from Colorado, says, hey, FBI, I found him. Sirajuddin Haqqani is the acting interior minister of Afghanistan, and he's on the terror watch list. He's on the... Yeah. So he's one of the Haqqanis that's there. So are we going to be doing business with them? I'm just curious.